Hey guys,
Hello world.
welcome back to another episode of We Should Have Recorded That.
So we did.
I'm Jasmine,
It's your girl Ciara.
and this is episode number 15.
Lucky number 15.
No.
That's all. I'm not going to explain why. It's just a lucky number.
Okay.
I'm claiming it.
Yeah. You know, we were talking offline about a variety of things. And
The coronavirus.
Yeah, you know.
I'm sorry, it's not funny.
We just were talking
Kinda
about the
It's a lot.
coronavirus. To be honest, I'm like exhausted
Jasmine's so over
from
it.
the talks of it, just because it's just draining.
It is.
Really,
It's very
really
much
is.
draining.
I think the media and the government, should do a better job of not censorship, but like they shouldn't be able to release all that type of information at one time like that over and over again, because that really is a form of like what's the word, like not hypnosis, but in the sense of like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you watching the same picture over and over and over again, just like when they were showing how cops, and it was always how white cops were killing people of color. Remember how they kept showing that over and over again?
Yeah, when it's like, well, the ratio is, the real facts are not that drastic,
Right.
or not that alarming.
Correct.
Well, okay, that may sound weird, but
I know
the
what you-
images that they were creating,
Right.
it was like, oh, this is what y'all want us to focus on right
Exactly. And that's what they do, and it's so much that we could go into. It's just another topic for a whole nother day. And I do one thing that we were talking about, honestly, we'll see in 2 weeks. We'll just
That
see
is
what we're all
Jasmine
in 2
mantra,
weeks.
okay? She won't believe anything, won't respond to anything until after 2 weeks, because, we're in Maryland and there has been a lot of updates in the last 48 hours. So it seems like the whole state is taking a 2-week time out.
Yeah. From everything.
So Jasmine wants to see like what actually grows into fruition, but after that point, like, what is going to happen? Unfortunately, we don't know.
We don't.
So that's why I've changed my opinion a little bit on that topic, just because I don't want to look at it too much as a joke anymore, because it is going to have an effect on our lives, whether it's like health-wise or financially or mentally. So it's a little real. It's more real this week. I'm sure that was the media's plan, but it does feel a little bit more real this week. That's all I really got to say about it. So everyone wash your hands. Stay safe.
Yeah.
Enjoy your life.
Yep. That's all the advice
That's all
I
we
can
got.
give. Because other than that, it would be a long show.
All right.
And I'm sorry, because I don't know. I'm tired because my dog got his teeth clean, right?
Mm-hmm.
So mind you, already I haven't slept, right? And I've been getting a little bit of sleep, and so he has to get his teeth clean. He had to be put under to get his teeth clean. So anesthesia, that's really serious for person. Like,
when you
can
get put
die.
under, it's,
Like,
yes, that's a risk
from
just by being put
anesthesia.
under. So
It's
yeah.
crazy. So so everything went well, and
Good.
and I also had an interview for a job that went well. I did like a shadowing there.
Nice.
I was trying to see if I want to talk about that. I think it's very important, people, especially women, when you go in for these interviews, I don't think people teach us how to negotiate. But also, I think what happens is the world has made you think you had to settle, in a sense, and more so women, just because of they're usually the caretakers.
Yeah.
So they feel like they have to accept what is, where men view family a little bit different because they are the provider. So I think maybe that's why they fight more for a higher pay.
Yeah, I feel like definitely
But
historically.
I will say, I've been blessed to be in a situation that I'm in, to where I know what I'm going to accept, and what I told them is one set price or compensation, and then, hey, give me 45 days, and then I want to renegotiate because I want the full, amount.
So, I literally just found out last year, the end of last year, that I actually could have what's the word? Not bargained.
Negotiate?
Negotiate, yes. You just said it. I could have negotiated my pay in every job that I had.
Wow.
But it just didn't seem like that was an option. So like my first job, I'm just starting. So I was like, yeah, I'll accept it. But then like even PayPal, like that's what their hiring rate was at the time. But I ended up finding out that, other people, well, they worked somewhere else. So they met their pay. Like it was way. So obviously you can meet pay. It's not just this one scenario. They could have. I didn't have any pay to bargain with, but I could have probably negotiated, like, because they literally taught us that in school. Like, you're about to walk out and have student debt. Like, you need to make sure that the pay you're receiving is going to sustain your life. And I'm sitting here like, well, it'll sustain my life, so I'm not going to complain about it. And even my job now, again, I could have, who knew? I could have negotiated. I didn't even know. Like, it wasn't even in my mind to even ask the HR rep, like, well, hey.
Can you still go back and do that now?
I'm sure I can now. It's been,
Try.
I'm sure. I mean, okay.
I mean,
hello.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
hi, guys.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I'm aware now.
But don't let that be just, what's the harm in reaching out? You're not, holding a knife to anyone's throat.
Well, I feel like once you're in, it's kind of like now you know what your pay is every year. Like, you know what it's going to be. I feel like the time to negotiate would have been when I just got, because I just started a new position in September. That would have been the time to say, oh, well, I was already going to be making this. Can I? Yeah.
Let them tell you that, though.
Okay,
you reach out to them and let them say, hey, the budget's blah, blah, blah. So, hey, can we revisit it? Let them tell you that.
Okay. I'll try. Yeah, I think I will, because it would be, I'll think about that. I'll try.
I think you should definitely do that. But yeah, and that's really it outside of, like, guys, I'm in class, long story short. We deal with different products, chemicals. I ended up chemically burning someone's face.
Why are you telling them?
Because I'm in school. This is what happens. Things like that happen. Especially if you're not aware of every single product. And the teacher, she's talking to us at different points in times. And yeah, so and then on top of that, I wasn't aware of the effect that the product that she already had on her face that she put on herself would do that. So yeah. But yeah, it's a learning lesson. But I love the class. I will say that. I'm so happy to be where I'm at, because I really feel like I can make a difference. Like, I got to actually finally do extractions on one of my classmates, and was I extracting like crazy? Like, really thinking I was a whole doctor, like poking and getting all the nastiness. I loved it.
Disgusting.
I was so happy, and I was working on her for a long time. Like, I was getting every single one. And the great part is, all the products we chose for her, it went down drastically. Like, she had a really bad breakout, but once you got into it, put the right stuff in there, cleared up.
Working.
Yeah, so it's awesome. So, this week has been good. I'm excited more about tomorrow. I have a date night with my husband.
Cute.
Or date day with my husband. So
day.
That's going to be great.
Sounds fun.
Why are you saying it like that? How was your week? Uh-oh.
No, my week was cool.
Okay.
Yeah, my week was really cool and simple. I was trying to be an adult this week, so I went and opened up a savings account. And this is when I was trying to tell you that racism was just thrust upon me, and it just made me so upset. But I realized that I've grown and matured, because I didn't even respond to it. Like, I didn't even want to tell her, like, sis, you're being racist. She's actually a white woman, so I shouldn't even call her sis. But I didn't even feel like explaining it to her. Like, that is literally your mindset. I do think I'm going to file a complaint, though, because you're in a banking world. You can't respond. Like, you're literally breaking your own rules.
What was
so
it?
I
Just
went,
what happened? Okay.
Yeah, so I went, sat down, and I let her know, like, I was there just to get order some checks, and I wanted to. I need some checks, so I'm an adult.
Never did that
order
in my
some
life.
checks. Exactly. I'm just adulting over here. So I'm like, let me go get my checks, and I'm gonna get a savings account here, because I have a credit union.
Oh, I love
But I was
that.
like, I should get a savings account with my checking too. Like, it would make sense to have. I mean, I just thought it would make sense. So I'm like, let me get the savings account. So she sits down. I give her my ID, and I mean, it was closer to 5 o'clock, so maybe she wanted to be in a rush, but she didn't have any personnel, like, not trying to, like, talk to you, none of that.
Yeah.
And then, I guess on her computer, when she put my name in, I automatically qualified for a credit card.
Oh, yeah, have a long time.
Personality just came out of nowhere.
Oh, stop.
And I'm like, oh, okay, so that, got it, okay, that's cool. So she was like, oh, you qualified for our card. I'm like, okay. She was trying to sell me on a card, so I'm just no. And I was like, yeah, I don't need another credit card. And she was like, well, you automatically qualified. That doesn't happen a lot in this area.
Oh.
I'm like, okay, all right. So that's okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So I was like, oh, okay. Like, I'm very aware of what my financial. Yeah. I'm very aware of that. So I was like, oh, I just opened a credit card. I'm definitely not opening up another one. Who do you have it with? I'm like, okay.
It's a lot of questions.
So many questions, right? So I'm like, oh, I got a Discover card. Mm-hmm. And she was like, well, with this card, you get this credit line, you get interest free. I'm just saying, like, again, you're not beating my Discover card. That's what I'm in my head, right. Just saying. But I don't even want to, like, engage as much. I was like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. No, then she was like, she asked me, like, what I needed the checks for. And I was like, what? I'm like, so is this you trying to be like a saleswoman now? Because it wasn't like she was trying to be like, it was like, oh, I'm gonna keep trying to sell you this card while you
say yes.
Until I say yes. And I was like, oh, I'm looking for an apartment. And she was like, oh, you'll get it because your credit is good. I'm like, sis, what are we doing? Like, why are you acting like this? It's crazy. And she was like, you can hook this up to your checking account, so that way if you get an overdraft fee, I'm like, it's not the best way to sell me, but okay. Like, it was so crazy. And then she was like, she literally asked me how much the rent was. And I was like,
where's your manager?
That's what.
Where's your manager?
If I had time, because I actually had to drop my mom off somewhere. If I had time, it would have been that. But I was like, I can't let it go here because I don't want to give her a reaction. Like, I really want her just to come in one day and her boss say, you got a complaint. Like, I want that for her. Like, I want it to be like, oh, you breaking the law because you telling me that I qualify, other people don't qualify. She told me I qualify. I think it was like $3,000, Jasmine. I was sitting here like, girl, if you don't, just leave me the hell. I'm not going to open up this credit line. I'm like, leave me the hell alone about this then. Why you keep trying to push it on me? It was so weird. But then to almost think like, oh, you qualify for it. Now I can, treat you as a customer. It was the weirdest thing to me. And I was like, I don't have the bandwidth to explain it to her today. But it definitely... It was at first. So then I felt bad because I'm like, maybe I should have said something, because if it was the other side to where that didn't happen, it could have been even worse customer service, because I think that was horrible customer service. But also it's like, I think I didn't care so much because it didn't really affect me. Yeah. So it's like, that's why she gonna think she could just keep doing it. So it blew me. But that was definitely a learning moment for me, because I would have never got my checks if that was me 5 years ago. I would have done. I need your manager. Close my account. Like, I would be doing pull every dollar out of the account, right? I would have did that. And they would have been like, ma'am, you can't pull every cent out of the account right now, okay? Like, everything. So I just tried to handle it a little different. Of course, like, I felt iffy, like, did I handle it right? But I just didn't want to engage.
The complaint is good.
Oh yeah, so I'm definitely going to
make sure
do
to follow up about that.
Yeah, you're getting it. You're getting it.
That's hilarious. And
I said, people just have to do better. We don't even realize our biases. Like, you work in this neighborhood, but you're talking about the people who live in it. Like, why are you better than them?
I know. I don't get it. People are weird. And speaking of us doing better, this is why we're having this conversation today, because we have always said how we were going to be way more involved in politics.
Yes.
So
it's been over a decade.
Yeah, very long time. But it's, to me, the perfect time.
It is. Like, it's time for action. That's been our word this year. It's time for action, y'all.
Let's get it. I put on Facebook, word for life, action. Like,
love it.
That's it. Mm-hmm. That's it. Gotta put in some action. So today we're just going to go through, like, things that we think you guys need to know when it comes to voting, what's going on with the election, things to look out for, how to do that.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have a better, more productive conversation about voting. Because right now in the news, it's just disappointing me every day.
Yeah.
Like the topics, the angles that they want to talk about voting. It's not helping anyone to go vote. It's not to make a decision. It's like, what are y'all feeding us? So it helped us because we got a chance to do our own research, learn about the candidates, and hopefully this will help anyone who decides to listen. It'll help.
And so starting off, we want to explain who can actually vote in the primaries.
This is very important, guys.
Super important. I'll tell you why.
Because Jasmine didn't know.
Yeah, I did not know. So if you are a Republican, you can only vote for a Republican for the primaries.
Yes.
Okay? If you are a Democrat, you can only vote for a Democrat.
That is true.
That is it. Now, any other parties? Because I want to say there's the Green Party, then there's the unaffiliated, which is independent party, and I'm pretty sure there are other ones that I don't know much about. I myself was part of the independent party in 2016. I'm still independent, but as far as mindset, values, I'm super independent. But because of the mistake that I made not knowing in 2016, I had to change my status back to a Democrat because my vote as independent couldn't count towards who I wanted to win, and that sucked, and that affected the campaign, the election so tremendously. Like it's something you need to know. So if you are an independent, I get it. It's completely fine that you want to be an independent, but I'm gonna need you to go down to the NBA. Okay, this goes into the next subject. Can we move forward to that?
So just to explain, just what Jasmine is saying, you can only vote with your party in the primaries. So Jasmine wants to explain, we got to play the game of politics a little bit.
But before I do move forward, so was it true that, because remember that was the question we had, as an independent, can I only vote for people in my party in the primaries?
No, it's not your election. This is an election for Republicans and Democrats. So you literally...
What do you mean it's not our election?
They don't have people, it's not a ballot for independents. Like, no, they're not, no, it's a Republican and Democrat.
You're just saying this year?
No, for a primary election.
Oh, okay. So you're just saying, you see what I'm saying? Because if there's people in the independent parties...
They aren't voting. They don't vote during primaries. Yeah, and we can look it up. Like,
you sure, Ciara?
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay. It's primaries are for the Democratic and Republican parties.
All right.
There are some state and local level offices because like we have a mayoral race right now. But yeah, primaries Democratic and Republican.
Which it sucks. So yes. So I mean, it is what it is. So I had to make sure. Anyway, the NBA got me for $20. Remember you were talking about that, how if my thing doesn't expire, why am I paying for it?
Yeah, why
and it's the same year. I just didn't think about it. And the new one's the same year as the old one.
Yeah, because I went last week and I didn't pay.
They're disgusting. Yeah, they got me on that one.
Maybe is it because you changed your voter's registration? What else did you do? Did you do anything else?
No,
did you change your last name?
No.
You sure?
I'm 100% sure.
Okay. So your last name was already on your card, your ID that you
I got that years ago.
Okay, because I think they told Deanna, it was like, yeah, you have to pay like $28 or something. And she was saying, no, my new name is already on my new card. So she didn't have to go back and pay. But if they weren't looking as closely, that might be why they charged you.
I don't want to talk about it no more then. So, so moving forward, where was I going? I'm sorry, I lost my thought.
The idea of you having to, the idea of someone in a Green Party or an independent party, they must declare if they would like to participate in the primary election. Right,
okay. So, and then unfortunately, depending on what your values are, maybe you don't care as much as I do to be independent and want to be known as an independent and have my vote count as an independent. But I will say, if anything, you can vote for whoever you want but I don't want y'all to listen to me. I'm not going to say it because I don't want this to get confused. Because I was going to say, these people can vote in the general election.
Yeah, so you can vote.
You can vote for whoever you want.
Yes.
But obviously, the biggest moment is the primary. It has not, maybe for you, it depends on what's going on in the world. In 2020, right now, I need you to go ahead and switch over.
Yeah, you want to be more involved.
Right.
Like the idea is so that way we can pick the best candidate. So
Correct.
you would want to be, if you have the option to be more involved, you should be. I guess for someone who is thinking about, because like you said, the value of them voting as independent, so that way it does become a wave. That way people do join that idea of a party. Because it wouldn't affect you because you don't have someone who's running right now. Right. But if you're thinking about the idea of politics, most likely your candidate will not be selected just right now. So yeah, in a general election, you can still put your vote on who you actually want.
Right.
But if you want your vote to go to who becomes president, it's kind of counterproductive.
Well, I have a whole nother view on that. I completely, the opposite of what Ciara said,
I know.
I feel totally
But that's
different.
why I was trying to explain it to you in 2016.
No, I know that's what you explained to me then, and I still have my thoughts on that. And it's unfortunate because the way we're all thinking, it may continue to be the way you're saying because no one's willing to change. But that's neither here nor there because I don't want people to get caught up in that. I want y'all to focus on Democrats, Republicans. That's it. Okay. Nothing else. Like, because you can get lost. So if you haven't already, we want to provide you with ways, give you information on how you can update your information or register to vote if you haven't registered to vote, okay? Because we're going to get into it why this is super, super important. Because I would assume, I mean, you can be whoever you are. I don't care who you vote for, to be honest with you. I just need you to do your research. Okay. So one way you can vote is going on vote.org. Yes. Vote, V as in Victor, OTE.org.
Like when you vote.
Right, yes. So the thing is, it's only limited to 49 states and then I believe Puerto Rico. Or no, Washington, D.C. So if that doesn't apply to you, you can go down to your local MVA.
The place we all hate.
Yes, I know you hate it, but you need to go there and register to vote if you haven't already, or change your party if you need to.
Yes.
We got to look at the bigger picture, what's really going down currently right now in front of you, okay? And then, so that's that. And you can also mail in your vote. It's called the, let me look it up real quick here. It is the National Mail Voter Registration Form. You can download that, and then I'm pretty sure it'll tell you who you can go ahead and mail that to, okay? Awesome. All right. Also, what we want to make sure people understand, it is never too late to register.
It's not.
Ever. So
don't let them lie to you. That's one of
the narratives that I feel like they put out to people, like, you know, or make people feel like someone's winning. Because, you know, I have an issue with that, and I feel like that should be illegal for them to report numbers.
That's what's happening right now.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I think that should be illegal.
Disgusting.
Because that's a form of control for people to think, well, you know what, I'm not going to go because it doesn't matter. And
also, we are very, like, what's the word for, like, we just palpable people. Like, it's so easy for us, like you said, to get distracted, to follow the crowd. So if they put that one candidate is leaving, it might, like you said, deter someone from voting. Right. But it also might deter people. It might also encourage people to join that bandwagon.
Right.
Like,
that's exactly what I'm saying.
This is the person. This must be the candidate.
Yeah, so let me vote for that person.
Who's going to win? So now I'm going to go give them my vote. And it's like, no, you have to do some of your own research. You have to.
Correct. Yes. And so, which perfectly goes into what we need to talk about. Research. Yes, you better say something.
No, because I was going to say, like, it's never too late to get up and go out and vote. Right. But in Maryland, there is a deadline to register to vote for this primary election.
Oh, there is.
It is.
Okay.
I believe
that's a great point.
Yeah, because
it's never too late, but there are deadlines.
Yeah, it's a deadline to register because you have to be in the system.
Right,
so for the primary election, I believe Maryland is April the 8th. Bear with me for 1 second. I'm sorry, it's April the 7th in Maryland. So that is the deadline to register, so that way you can go out and vote on April the 28th.
Right.
For the primaries.
Okay.
So right now, well, when the episode come out, you'll still have about 3 weeks or so to make sure that you get your registration in. If you got to mail it, if you got to go online, still can register.
Okay, no, that was perfect. I'm glad you caught that because that was important.
It's like it's never too late. Here go all the millennials strolling up.
Yeah,
we here to vote.
Right.
Hello.
Yeah. The
Hello.
deadline has passed.
Yes.
But research. This is how you make an informed decision. I understand that some people are going to feel like, well, I can't trust the information that's being put out there. You also can't trust ignorance, and you're being ignorant if you're not looking up the information. And I hate to sound so rash, but I have to, because you gotta really take into consideration that you don't know. If you're not fluent in politics, you need to be doing some research. Now, if you want to start checking sources and saying who's credible, who's not, that is a factor. You should be looking into that. I mean, you all know the names that you should be looking for, and I'm not saying any names because that's up to you. You know who you should be looking for. You know what information you should, say, I'm not going to take that in. Okay. But what you can also do, something that is super credible, that is unbiased, that's the word I was looking for, you can go on to www.ballotready.org. Okay, that's www.ballot, B as in boy, ALLOT, ready, READY.org. This is the perfect place to start because it gives you a list of your local, state, federal, judicial, county politicians. It tells you who's currently there, when they will have to go and be reelected, and it gives you a link to their website so you can get more information about them, right? And then I would say that's number one. So that way you can see who's currently in office, because you might want to start there. I think this is a little bit easier. I say that because you're probably a little bit familiar with just the name, maybe some of the things they have or haven't done. And this allows you to dig in deeper to find out more information about individuals, because you might want to keep that person in office. You know what I'm saying? So do start there. I think that's the best way to become involved first. And now the next set of things that you're going to have to do is going to be, it's going to be tough.
Get ready. Brace yourself.
Because it's a lot. Because the next thing you'll have to do is look at people who are new, people you haven't heard of before. You don't know about their credibility, and it feels safe to always fall back on who's already in office. But my question is, what are your goals in life? What do you?
This is getting deep.
Is that too much?
No, I love it because that's an informed voter.
I think what do you wish could be changed in your life? Start looking for those qualities in candidates and see if there are things that they've done in the past that have or haven't backed up what you want. Because I think that's how you make an informed decision.
And I think this is really important for the mayoral election. Because
all
I feel
of it.
like, well, all of it, but I feel like just in the presidential election, we only have a select few candidates left, just at this point.
Yeah.
But in the mayoral race, it's a lot. We can stick with who we have now. We can stick with people who've already been in government. We can go back to Sheila Dixon, who was our mayor, years ago. So that is very important, because that's what I feel like is a question that no one can. I know I can't tell you who I'm voting for right now for mayor, because it's so much information. I do need to do more research on that level to understand all the candidates. It's looking pretty bad at this, looking pretty bleak at this point, because everyone seems to having this very similar issues of corruption. Okay, everyone seems to have it. So it is kind of like, choosing the lesser of evils, and we're talking about even on a city level, a local level. Right. It's crazy. So, but it definitely, you're gonna have to do a lot of soul searching and decide how you would vote. In that case, because right now there are still many options. That many options.
Right, and I know this is going to be funny.
Okay.
Our it's a credible website.
It is.
So Don't fret. It's the AARP 6 ways to check out a candidate. I think they give some really good advice.
They do, because it breaks it down. Like, it's so much information that you can search on the World Wide Web. So
Right.
it's like, start with these top 6 things and, try to make a more informed decision. So that first, on first on the list is explore the candidates' websites to see where you stand, to see where they stand on your hot button issues. So you said that, like, if it's something that's very important to you, make sure that they actually supporting it.
Right.
Like, don't just follow like a name that you heard or someone that you know before. Like, make sure they are supporting something that's actually really important to you.
Right.
The second one is, if one of the candidates is incumbent in the House of Representatives, go to Congressgov and research their voting records.
Right.
So I don't believe we have any incumbents.
Well,
Trump. Well, he's not House of Rep.
Yeah, but Elijah Cummings died.
Yes. So yeah, he's not incumbent though. So I mean, that is just like, no, he wouldn't be guaranteed to get the seat because
right. True.
So yeah, for Maryland that doesn't resonate, but if you're listening anywhere else, definitely Congress.gov. Third, it says attend a campaign event, including town halls. So that might be really good to do.
I think so.
Because I know Fox 45 has been having town halls like crazy, especially for the mayoral events. So, it's more like conversational and direct instead of like an actual debate on TV where someone's moderating it. It's the people get to go up and ask the questions that they want to the candidates. So I think that's
awesome.
That actually is really smart. Now, I do know that our current mayor hasn't been showing up like to any of them.
Oh, really?
So, I mean, that's pretty telling on its own. But that would be a good way to actually hear directly from the candidates what their views are.
Yeah, the best way.
So number 4 says find a campaign office or call and drop in. So,
that's something I would love to do.
I know, Jasmine's
Hello,
ready.
Excuse me, I have a list of questions I need answered by you today.
Before you lose my vote.
Yeah, before you want my vote?
They're going to be like, little girl.
I'm a grown woman, okay?
But no, it's very true. Like, call in here. These people are trained staff. They should be able to explain where the candidate stands on your issues.
Yes.
Instead of us guessing.
Right.
Because sometimes the websites are a little misleading. We may not understand all the terminology. So call, speak with a person, and let them give you some more information if it's important to you. And it should be.
That.
Definitely should be. All right, so number 5, it says check the candidates' answers on important issues. So they actually list the website FactCheckorg. It says it's run by like a public center, and they keep track of candidates' answers. So I guess in like the debates, they've been keeping track. Because, people like to play the fence, go back and forth, depending on who they're speaking with. And it's like, no, like, I'm voting for you because you're going to cancel student debt. Like, you can't backtrack that now. I don't want to hear that.
No, you cannot.
That's a big thing. So, fact check. They keep up with everything the candidates have been saying lately. So that is very important.
And can I add something? Because I think that's important, too, because you got to be careful with the media. Understanding that the media is only ran by a few people. And when I say that, you're talking about television, magazines, newspapers. It's all ran by the same person. I don't care how many different... Exactly. I don't care how many different channels you watch.
Coming from the same source.
Exactly. So you have
same ideas.
So you gotta be careful of that. And that's why you want to check a website like this to keep track of everything, even just to make sure the news isn't swaying your opinion or making up stuff.
And that's actually the last suggestion. It says go to trusted sites. Yeah. Because, like, we all know the CNN and Fox. Right. So it's literally a biased opinion at this point. We know Fox is very, like, conservative. CNN is liberal. So we know how they're going to sway. We know the snippets that they're going to pick and blow up. So it's not giving us a bipartisan answer. It's not giving us what we need right now to make an informed decision. So you have to find some other sources. And that's why when we found AARP, it was funny because we thinking of, we're millennials. We're looking for a nice site for us to get some more information. Here it's AARP. Who's
giving great information.
Perfect information because it's just unbiased, just telling you to take your vote in your hands and make the best decision. So go ahead, AARP.
Exactly. And then one thing I do want to add, do whatever you want, but I think you should listen to all sides. Think that's super important, because I think you do yourself a disservice if you think you have certain views only leaning towards one party, which might not be true, and you would never know because you never looked out for the other party. Again, do what you want, but I think you should do that.
See, so I'm still stuck with, because that mindset is still, I feel like it's not teetering the fence, but it's still a little dangerous right now, just in the climate that we're in. Because it's like, what is the standard? We don't know what the standard is anymore. We don't know what the standard is for president. It's been completely completely thrown out the window. So, but then if you look at someone's track record, it's a lot of people who can say where the country was last year, it was a great place, so I'm going to vote that way. So it's like, we have to remember that we are not politicians. So we can play their game, but this really is affecting our literal day-to-day lives. So voting with a party may even be dangerous right now. Like,
how I feel.
Yeah, it's even dangerous. So in the primary election, those are specific where you have to vote. But once you get down to the final candidates who are going to be running for like the presidency in November, it's very important to continue this research, because now you know who your final options are. And it's important to make a decision that will benefit you in your life, but you gotta think about other people. We gotta think about the country. We gotta think about how things still affect us all on personal levels, but literally as a country right now, we're still being affected. So
I do say that, and we said we weren't going to. No, we can't.
What?
I was gonna say we said we weren't going to talk about it. But it seemed like almost you are forced to talk about the fact that, to be honest with you guys, it looks like this race is, it's not fixed, but you kind of know the route it's going to go.
Yeah, we can talk about it. It's first is our fucking podcast. Second, it is important because our narrative is it is different from what's in the media. So people have to understand, like, we got to start thinking for ourselves. And we're not here to persuade. We're just here to say, look at what's being presented to us. Like, that's it. So, I mean, definitely don't want to persuade, but in the media right now, so this is week 2 of Super Tuesday. So we're starting to see who the front runners are for the Democratic and Republican parties. Trump is definitely the front runner for the Republican parties as of now. It's still a long way to go, just based on like the amount of delegates. But in the Democratic Party, the front runners are 2 men, Biden and Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. So we are at a point to where right now it's a decision-making time. And
I think I know how to say it, but not say it. The point is, you need to vote.
You got to vote.
You have to. I don't care if your candidate does not win, as far as it gets into the general election. When it comes to that general election, you need to get up and go vote, because I'm trying to tell you, if you don't, you're doing this country a disservice. And I made it a point, because if you guys follow us on social media, specifically, I should say Facebook, there's a post we put out, and I need y'all to really understand how much money is being sent to these people to, number one, persuade them and persuade us, okay? They try, and they also put out a narrative, because I want you guys to be aware that they say your vote doesn't count. That's not true, because they wouldn't put out millions, billions of dollars to get you to come out or get you to stay home. Come out, vote, tell your friends, tell your family, make it a trip. I don't care. Everybody go get a big old 15-passenger van and
get
pack it up.
To the voting
yes,
station.
It's that serious. Because if you do not get out, you're going to be unhappy. And I don't want you to say, dang, would it have made a difference if I got out? Just go and we'll know.
So that's because I hear what you're saying, but that's what I want to really push about the primary election, because I feel like it's a cycle. So, and maybe just speaking as a millennial, we don't take the primary election as serious. So it's been proven that we are not going out to vote. Even if we're just talking about this election, we are not showing up at the polls because we think, oh, it's another election and we'll have in November the one that's the deciding factor. But right now is where it counts, because if your candidate doesn't make it to the general election in November, then you really aren't going to be motivated to vote. That's when I think it really sets in, like, oh, my vote doesn't count. Like, everyone already chose who they voting for. Like, my little one vote doesn't count. But it matters so much, because right now we're trying to decide who's the best candidate. And if your candidate doesn't even get to make it to the next round, you really, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah,
so
you're right. We should put more emphasis on that.
It has to be. And the fact that in Maryland, we still have time. You have weeks. You have about 6 weeks until we vote. Okay. That's so much time to do research. That's time, even if you spend one day of 1 hour to do the research, that's enough time for you. You don't want to go to the voting polls. You have enough time to register to vote, to do an early ballot, to do a mail-in ballot. It's so many things we can do. And right now, following the media who's telling us that the election is decided, and we know our state hasn't even voted. It's crazy. And it really is crazy. And that's why people do, again, they feel like it doesn't matter because it's already decided. So my vote won't change anything. It definitely will, because now the two biggest candidates in the Democratic Party are within 200 points of each other. Now, for the Republicans, I get it, because I feel like they know who they want to choose. And that's what they've been showing up in the votes choosing. So you choosing who you want to. But I just feel like for the primary, it's so much time to still have an input. And that's what we got to remember. And you're not going to hear it if you just logging on to the media. You're not going to hear it because they are pushing a candidate. So that's why people probably do feel like my candidate don't have any chance now. So no, it's like, no, go give them your vote and let's see what we can do in the next couple weeks.
Exactly. And so, thank you guys for listening. For me, I just think this is a super important episode.
Yeah, I'm happy we did it because it jump-started us. It got us back. We hadn't talked about politics in a while because I know it can just be exhausting. Because it's literally a game. It really is the worst game in the world because they're playing with our lives. But we have to. I saw a meme today and it said, like, you can't continue to like live in like a false reality, like keep pushing away, like it doesn't exist. Yes, you're living in ignorance. And it's like you can't keep living in a space where you just want to be free from it. It's like, no, you have to face it at some point. And I feel like adults, think about even going to like a dinner, people don't want to talk about politics. Like you go anywhere and it's just like, oh no, we gonna leave that topic because we know it gets spicy. It's like, it's because it's a real life topic. We can't keep talking about love is blind. Like we gotta talk about something real at some point because
it affects us.
It affects us all, guys.
So let's not play that game. So like Ciara said, do yourself a favor, schedule out sometime, once a week to go ahead. I don't care if you spend 10 minutes. Just spend some time doing some research so you can feel good. Who doesn't feel good about doing research and then making the decision from that research? Who doesn't feel good about that? So that's all. So yes. And
you guys are motivated.
To
go exercise your right to vote. Like people literally gave their lives. This is the 100 years since women were able to vote. 100 years in the country. It's how old? I mean, people fought for it.
They did.
It's a big deal.
Exactly.
So, and some states, like from our research.
Oh shoot! Yeah, did that.
Some states they don't get the vote. So some states have caucuses, like Iowa. So they're still a little 50 years behind, where they just get together and have. I mean, it could work, but they get together and have like town halls and meetings, to where like everyone come and discuss, and they actually talk directly with their delegates and let them know how they would like to vote. So they don't go to a poll station and check a box and vote independently. They just have like weekly, they have like meetings throughout the month, and then their delegates get like their information, and then their delegates decide who they're going to assign their vote to. Well, which candidate. So they don't have a right. Hopefully their delegates are making good decisions because they voted for them. But they actually don't. Iowa don't have the right to vote. So you do.
Exercise your right.
And I think they said Bloomberg he was a candidate in the Democratic Party. His campaign was $600,000.
600,000.
I mean, I'm sorry, 600. Excuse me. Correction. $600 million.
Oh yeah,
okay?
that's craziness.
So I don't know if he spent that in totality, but that's how much he raised, and that's where it's supposed to go. That's where the funds go for his election, and he dropped out. So imagine how much it's costing Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders to continue to be in this race. Like, it matters. We talking about billions of dollars. It matters.
So
Your
go
vote
out
matters.
and vote. Okay. All right. Until next time, guys.
Bye.
Bye.